Hey guys, welcome to another episode of No Name Sports Talk. I'm Glenn. We're back here with another episode talking about Super Bowl 55 and some off-season news that we've been hearing about. And I think that's about it. So, who wants to start off?
I could go, I guess. Um, so yeah, the
Please
first.
go, Sam.
That
I
was awkward.
it's okay. Um, the Super Bowl. Okay, so I'll just talk a little bit briefly about it. I have like a few main takeaways, but like I just want to talk about it. Um, so yeah, a lot of us, the Super Bowl didn't go as a lot of us had thought. All three of us thought the Chiefs would win, but
I said the
my pick.
Buccaneers, but
I know, but you
I want
thought the Chiefs
to
would.
win.
Dude, you
Technically,
I think you changed your philosophy on how you're gonna predict wins again.
yeah.
But you're like 1 for 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like 3-1 with that.
Or 1 and 3, something like that.
Pretty good.
Anyways, anyway, um, so yeah, the Bucks did had a very good game overall, very solid. Tom Brady was very good. The Bucks defense played well. Todd Bowles especially played well, or like schemed well.
Todd Bowles
Um,
played well.
the Chiefs
It was like he's
did
right on
not.
with them.
The Chiefs did not. Mahomes didn't have an awful game considering like I think he was um, under pressure like 40 something percent of the time, under 2.5 seconds um, from time
Yeah,
to
you got a
throw,
taste of what the Bears have been dealing with.
which is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean
It
Andy
is.
Reid didn't show anything too special. There's a few drops, or yeah, a few significant drops in there for the Chiefs, and yeah, they were basically just outplayed by the Bucks. Um, and yeah, I think that's it. All right, you want to go, Jake?
All right, yeah, I will gladly go. So I'm looking at Tom Brady's stats. He was 21 for 29 for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 picks with a quarterback rating of 125.8. Playoff Leonard Fournette had 16 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown. He played great. And then Gronk showed why he was probably the best tight end in that game. Not saying he's the best tight end in the NFL at this time, but he was the best tight end on the field for that day. Um, he really showed out. I mean, I guess you can say Travis Kelce had a really good game. He had 10 catches for 133 yards. Rob Gronkowski, though, in my opinion, played better because he got open and he was able to. I guess you can also say that the Chiefs didn't have enough time for Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball, but either way, I think Gronkowski showed a lot of good things in that game. I'm just gonna say that that's the Chiefs had a lot of pressure because that's what happens when you don't have your two starting tackles in the game. We just saw a bunch of Patrick Mahomes kind of playing Madden. He was just running around the field and turning around and then running around and turning around again and then throwing while spinning and then throwing while he was falling down, which is both throws were and the first time I saw it, I was like, all right, this is kind of ridiculous. And then the second one that he threw when he was falling down, I was like, all right, that was kind of cool. Um, and then it bounced off of a receiver's face mask, and it looked like what we look like when we're playing football, just running around and then throwing it, hitting each other in the face. Um, Other than that, I mean, I was really surprised. I really thought losing the two tackles was going to be huge for the Chiefs, but I really thought Andy Reid was going to scheme some plays to hopefully, what's the word I'm looking for? Elude that, I guess you can say. I don't know if that's a word to use, but um, I was just really surprised by this game. It just looked like the Chiefs were not ready to play. I don't know if this will ever make Patrick Mahomes the GOAT. If they don't play each other again, if he never plays Tom Brady again in the Super Bowl, no matter what Patrick Mahomes does in his career, I don't think he'll ever be the greatest of all time. This solidified Tom Brady 100%.
Yep, we're just gonna put right down right now for Patrick Mahomes that Tom Brady's better than him. Um, with what I thought of the game, it was clear domination from the Buccaneers. The Chiefs they didn't scheme very well. 92% of the snaps that they took, they were in five personnel, which means that they only have five linemen in the field. So they didn't put out extra tight end, or they didn't chip Shaq Barrett or Jason Pierre-Paul, and that caused. I think PFF said wasn't 30 plus pressures on Mahomes with their analytics, and he was just running around like a madman, just throwing a sidearm and doing things that you only see in movies like dodgeball, and it was just crazy to see. And
Like backyard football stuff.
backyard football, glitchy Madden. There was, and the receivers were just. I know that the receivers
Really
aren't
bad.
playing. It just makes them look bad, but it was just pure great plays by Mahomes, and it just never worked out for the receivers. And some of those throws were on the receiver, and some of them were on Mahomes.
Yeah, I thought in the beginning of the game that Mahomes looked really inaccurate. There was some statistic that I don't know exactly, but at one point he was like 2 for 9 or like 2 for 11, or he was really bad, especially really bad on third downs. But I thought some of the throws Patrick Mahomes made were, you could say 50% of them were on the receivers, but I think 50% were also on him. He just did not play well. I think he had the lowest quarterback rating of his career. What's astonishing to me is that this was the first time in the NFL for Patrick Mahomes that he's lost by double digits. The last time he lost to double digits was in college. That's just really amazing to me.
I don't think this was the first time. Was this the first time he didn't score a touchdown in a game in the NFL? Or I remember.
Probably something like that. I have a buddy who was watching the game with me, and he's a Raiders fan. So he just loved the game. He loved every single part of it. He loved watching Patrick Mahomes just fail. And so he's happy because the Raiders were the only team that beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs this year in the regular season at least one time. I also want to point out, this is not really that important, but if I had my guys with me and I told them, if I explained, I had actually picked a Devin White interception. I was going to bet that. And it happened at the last play for the Chiefs. And I just had my water bottle down or in my hand. And I was like, let's go. And I chucked it and water went everywhere. But then it was kind of cool. Not that it's that important, but just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think also on the defensive side for the Chiefs, we saw the Chiefs defense just didn't look that well. They looked overwhelmed by Tom Brady.
They were holding.
Well, they said on the broadcast that the Chiefs were very aggressive and pass, and that they would usually do that, but they were more aggressive today, or more aggressive in that game, I guess. And you see with the Spagnuolo defense that it's mostly one-on-ones with corners, so corners have to do their thing and make sure that they cover their guy closely.
Yeah, some of the plays though, some of the flags that were thrown, the one holding penalty that on Tyrann Matthews interception, the holding call on Mike Evans, that was clearly holding. But the one PI call in the end zone that was also around Tyrann Matthew, I thought that was a really bad call. I'm not sure exactly what the refs saw, but I just thought that play looked uncatchable. And then the cool thing was we saw Tyrann Matthew and Tom Brady get after it. I did think the the refs gave a flag to Tyrann Mathieu, and I thought that was complete. You know what? You clearly saw Tom Brady get in his face and run up to him. Yes, Tyrann Mathieu threw a finger. He was waving a finger in front of Tom Brady, but Tom Brady was the one that ran out and talked a little smack. So I thought that was kind of wimpy on the refs to give it to Tyrann. I want to tell you guys something. It's not a conspiracy, it's true. But who was the female referee in that game? Female referee.
Thomas?
Yeah, I know. I think I know what you're referring to when she called a penalty on a Chiefs player or whatever, and she like named her kid Tom Brady.
Yeah,
or something.
I was about to say that. Yep, she named her child after Tom Brady. That just is a little suspicious to me.
I don't think.
Grant-
I don't think she actually like had to affect her judgment. I mean, it was like a questionable call and stuff, but like the announcers were like, "All right, that's probably the right call and stuff," and like I don't know the exact rule.
Granted, I am giving like 100%. I don't know what the word is, but like I thank for all the women that are starting to be known and be are starting to show that they can, be a part of this and be a part of this league. I'm granting any woman that wants to join. I'm just saying as a referee, that was just kind of funny to me to realize. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Brady's got his 7th ring. He's got more Super Bowls than the Patriots organization and the Steelers organization.
Yeah.
Glenn's happy about that.
I think Bill Belichick still has more Super Bowls than him. Doesn't Belichick have it?
Yeah.
Because he won 2 with the Giants. So
yeah, he's
technically
definitely.
Belichick's still better than Tom Brady.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Who has more Super Bowls?
I think that covers it for the Super Bowl. It was a good game.
It was entertaining.
Won. Yeah.
Let's talk about some news.
What do you want to go over first, Glenn?
Well, since we have a Bears fan right here, we should probably talk about the Carson Wentz rumors about him going to Chicago. And what are your thoughts about this, Jacob?
So the rumors are definitely a possibility. I do think if Carson Wentz came to Chicago, I'm not opposed to that, but I'm just worried about what the Eagles' asking price is, which I already saw rumors about. I'll talk about that later, but the Eagles' asking price and how much the Bears actually paid and gave to them, I'm just worried about because Ryan Pace, in my opinion, he's going to be really aggressive because his job is on the line. He's going to be really aggressive, so he probably is going to take a higher offer than what the value is or what other teams would have done, but we don't know for sure yet. Back to what the Eagles asking price was, I think I saw on Twitter or I saw on the news that the Eagles allegedly wanted something like a Matthew Stafford trade, which I think is completely ridiculous because you just saw the way Carson Wentz played. He had that really nice season in 2017, and since then he hasn't really lived up to that level or played to that level. So I've seen rumors that the Bears had offered Tariq Cohen and like a 1st-round pick and Nick Foles. I've seen offers that the Bears, or seen things like Bears offered maybe 2 1st-round picks, but that would have been ridiculous. Overall, what I'm trying to say is I hope the Bears, if they are in the highest bidding, I just really hope that they didn't take too high of an offer. Do I think Chicago is the best place for Wentz? No, I actually think Indy is. But if the Bears get him and he pans out, that'll be fantastic, and we'll get to see Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy again. So I don't know how that's going to go. But
Mm-hmm.
What is everyone else's thoughts on it?
Sam, did you want to go?
Sure. I mean, I honestly don't really like that move for the Bears. I know they want to get like a veteran in there, like especially the management, to help save their jobs and like have them compete this year. Excuse me. Um, but I actually prefer like maybe one of the other veteran quarterbacks available, like Derek Carr or like obviously
The
Deshaun
Raiders,
Watson.
the Raiders said they're not going to trade Derek Carr.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying someone a little bit better than Wentz and like a little less of um or more of a certainty that they'll be good.
If you don't mind me interrupting, I'm just going to ask a question. What other veteran quarterbacks are going to be available in this offseason? I know you said Derek Carr, but Derek Carr probably won't be traded or gone or left. So, like, what other guys are you talking about?
Well, I've heard rumors like Jimmy G potential. I'm sorry. Like Jimmy
Bless you,
G
Sam.
or thank you, Glenn. Or who was I thinking of?
I don't
You were
know.
Sam
I'm asking
Darnold.
you.
No. I know. Oh, Kirk Cousins. Maybe I've heard rumors.
Oh my
Like
God, dude.
there's rumors about a lot of people, and I'm saying that would be an upgrade for the Bears. I'm not saying that I would want them to do that. I'm saying that's what the management would want to do, is get an upgrade like that. And like once is a decent target to go after for that, I would probably prefer someone else. Honestly, if I was the Bears, like regardless of what the management wants to do, I would be trying to either trade for Watson or trade up in the draft to get QB, or maybe if you could take if Mac Jones like falls to you, take Mac Jones.
Thing is that in order to trade, the Bears need trade capital, and they just don't really have that. We don't
I mean,
really. We could give up a first round pick, but then I don't want to be set in. And I mean, I as a fan and probably the whole fan base, we don't want to be like the Rams where we don't have a first round pick until multiple years later.
yeah,
And what other guys are you going to trade? Like we could trade Khalil Mack, but then I don't think that's really smart. Um, I don't think I don't think we're going to get Deshaun Watson. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers, but there's so many factors that have to take place and go our way in that trade. Um, I can see us instead trading for Sam Darnold. The one thing I'll say about the Carson Wentz ordeal is John DeFilippo was on the Eagles staff. He was the quarterback coach when Carson Wentz had his MVP season, and now John DeFilippo is our passing game coordinator. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. And John DeFilippo has stated that he thinks he can fix Carson Wentz. Fix, and I'm shaking my fingers when I say fix. Um, I'm curious to see what he means by that. I think Carson Wentz probably just needed like a new place. He just needs a new state of mind, a new place to just what's the word I'm looking for, like replay or just like reverse or
replenish.
something. He just needs like a like just to take a breath and
Oof.
yeah, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, how to
Like
describe it,
a
but
new place to like a restart.
restart. Yeah. Not a
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's okay. You might disagree with me, but I don't know if the Bears are really like able, if they get a player like of that caliber to be in Super Bowl contention. I think they'd have to get like okay. So this is what I was gonna say. And for them to trade up, I think they should give like a player, or like say from Nick Foles, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing names out, but they could give up players, or if the management is really not looking to the future as much, maybe like a future second round pick also. But also, I think if you could sit there and get like Mac Jones, I think he can be a decent QB this like coming year, and like don't think okay. The thing about Mac Jones is I feel like there's very little chance that he'll be a bust, but there's very little chance that he'll be like a top 5 QB or something like that.
The thing
So
with
I
that
think
is winning the national championship definitely boosted his draft stock, and there's a bunch of teams that are ahead of the Bears that I can definitely see taking. And if we traded up to get him, uh, like I said earlier, I don't think the Bears have enough trade capital to do that.
yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying like I feel like if he goes onto a team that has a good roster overall and just like if that just basically needs a QB or something along those lines, like he would be a good fit for that system.
And
Keep
then
them in playoff contention.
just another thing that we as Bears fans and the Bears organization have to deal with is, let's say we get Carson Wentz, but then we don't have Allen Robinson. Let's say we lose Allen Robinson. Now we have to fix our offensive line, and now we have to get a receiver. So like there's so many things that we have to think about, and like how are we going to do this? The Bears are in trouble.
I would say, I mean, okay, so say they get a veteran QB. Just say they get Wentz. They trade. Let's just say their first round pick and like Nick Foles. I'm okay, and
This is a
then
mock trade. Yeah, just keep going. Just go.
we're just talking. We're just talking.
We're just
Um,
talking.
yeah. So then I'm not sure how much they have in cap space wise, but they should go after maybe like weapons on offense and basically just try to help the offense as much as they can. And then for the draft, trade back and just throw darts at as many like O linemen or players of need as you can and just hope for the best. Because honestly, I don't know what that management. Honestly, I don't know why they weren't fired this year. I think maybe one of the reasons they weren't is because they made the playoffs. But I think that's a stupid reason if that's like one of the only
They're
reasons.
saying George McCaskey and Ted Phillips said it was the camaraderie that Pace and Nagy had. And they know that it's like a natural process that once you're failing, just fire everyone. They're giving them one more shot. I was surprised too that they didn't get fired. Um, if it succeeds, they look like geniuses, and if they don't, they look as cliche as that saying is.
I think if I think if they succeed, they get lucky because I mean I just don't see that many paths to success right now.
I
And
think our defense still is going to be a top 10 defense. We got the former Packers defensive coordinator, Mike Pettin. And then I've been hearing a lot of great things about our new DC that we hired. Our safeties coach, I forget his name. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out.
I know his nickname. It's Doc.
Something like that. He was in Vic Fangio's right hand man. He was Vic Fangio's right hand man during the 2018 season. Let me look up his name.
yeah, I mean I don't know. It's
Sean
hard to
Desai. Sean Desai.
it's hard to count on a defense to be very consistent from year to year. So I
But,
think
like
I
if
expect
if you look at the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, the Bears defense has been top 10. Obviously, we had that really great season in 2018 where we were probably the best defense in the league, and we've not been that since. I understand that, but I'd say over the past 4 or 5 years, our defense has been relatively consistent. And I
yeah,
know it's
but
hard. I know it's hard to maintain that, and it just sucks because our offense cannot compensate for what our defense has been producing. Um, I think in 2018 when our offense was like it was an average offense, it was pretty good at times. It was because our defense helped them out. I never really thought our offense was going to win us games. And I'm sorry, but in this league now, you need to develop an offense that can get you to victories.
I agree. And yeah, also I know they've been decent for sure, at least decent these past 4 years. Like good, they've been good these past 4 years. But I'm just saying, like their 2018 year, like they were the best or like second best. Um, they were like one of the best. And I think there's a huge difference between like one of the best defense and 10th, whereas there's not as big of a defense between like 10th and 20th, if you understand what I'm saying.
A little bit.
Okay, yeah, I just think it's a lot of defenses are like average or like similar, and there's only like a few elite defenses a year, and it's hard to maintain that. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see a lot of great outcomes for. I don't know.
All right.
There's always reason to be optimistic and hopeful, but personally, I don't like their chances at being good next year. As of now,
We'll just see how it goes. Do you guys want to talk about Carson Wentz more, or do you want to talk about anything else? Like what I mean when I mean talk about Carson Wentz more, are there any other like places you think Carson Wentz can go to?
Well, I mean, I
Or
didn't talk that much. It was just you and
I
Sam.
I know.
I think with Carson Wentz, it'll be, like you guys said, it'll be very 50-50 with the Bears, but I see a better opportunity with the Colts since Frank Wright was the quarterback's court. Quarterback's
He was the offensive coordinator.
um, I thought he was a quarterback coach.
I think he was the offensive coordinator.
This is Stefanski, the
DiFilippo, I think, was the quarterback coach.
I think Stefanski was on that staff as well. Or am I wrong?
I thought Stefanski was on the Vikings.
all right. Regardless,
Whatever, yeah, whatever. We could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't. I thought I remember him on the Eagles, but
All right, just keep going.
okay. But I think with the Bears situation, would I be looking for Carson Wentz? Probably not. I think the past 2 years he's just been average to trash.
Oh wow.
I mean, PFF ranked Carson Wentz like 30th or 31st, if I'm not wrong. I mean, he was horrendous this year.
Yeah.
There's not a really nice way of saying that you were bad this year.
All right, just keep going. We don't need to talk about how to say you're bad.
But if I'm the Bears, like Sam said, I would go for a quarterback in the draft. There are other options. There's Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's a better option than Carson Wentz at this time right now. And there I don't
okay.
know.
One thing I'll say about Sam Darnold, I think he's being a little bit overvalued. I know he's been in an awful situation and stuff, but like there's been like what 3 years of evidence on him, so like he would have shown something by now if there was more potential. And like
I think
Carson Wentz has at least shown like this has obviously been his worst year and everything, but I think there is still a lot more optimism for him than Sam Darnold that he can be average QB to good QB.
Yeah, I'll agree with Sam on that. If anything, the fact that Sam Darnold is being overvalued, that could help the Jets out a lot. I can definitely see the Jets possibly taking a quarterback. You know, it's just up in the air as to who they could draft at number 2. But if they draft a quarterback, I can see Sam Darnold just playing for a roster spot next year, and then that could heighten his draft or his value. But as of right now, I think there's not much that he has shown that proves what a team will be willing to offer to the Jets. But either way, if it's high, that only helps the Jets.
Okay. Did you want to talk about any other players before we go,
I just wanted to
or
circle
elaborate? Go ahead.
Sam Darnold. I kind of disagree with you guys. I know like maybe it's a hot take for me, but who was who's been the Jets' top target for like Sam Darnold the past 3 years? I think his only best target was Robbie Anderson. All of his other players on
Or
that team,
Crowder,
Jameson Crowder,
Jameson Crowder, maybe.
he's had.
But yeah, we get what you're saying. Keep going.
Adam Gates is not that good, and there's been locker room issues. Sam Darnold got mono last year, which is like pretty serious, and it might have caused him not to do very well last year. Then this year they were just tanking. I mean, they had no shot, and we've seen Sam Darnold make plays. He made that one play against against San Francisco, where he threw across his body about like 20 or 30 yards to wide open wide receiver. I mean, I know it's just one play, but there is talent there with Sam Darnold. And I think with Carson Wentz, you've seen him decline, and I think Sam Darnold still has a better upside. And if you get a good coaching staff there, I think you can salvage the situation and maybe make Sam Darnold average to above average quarterback.
Yeah, I can definitely see your reasoning, and there are probably people that will agree with you. I guess the thing that Carson Wentz has going for him is he's just got more experience. I agree that he has been declining, and it's kind of strange to understand why. There's really not a real good answer, I believe. If a team can trade for a guy that was projected to be the first overall pick and it works out, like that's just tremendous for that team. Either way, it's hard to tell what teams will do because we don't know. We just have to wait and see.
Sam, did you have anything?
I mean, I just stand by what I said earlier. But I know I've seen a few mock drafts where they have the Jets not taking a QB. Honestly, I think the only way that makes sense is if they trade for Watson, because even if Sam Darnold does end up being good, you have no guarantee of that. So I think you have to draft the best, or the so Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be taking one, but so like draft Zach Wilson or Justin Fields at 2, and then that way, if say Sam Darnold does turn out to be better than whoever you drafted at 2, then you trade them and get assets back. Like, it's not a lose situation if you draft a QB there. It doesn't like if you keep Sam Darnold and have the QB there, it just makes your odds better at having a good QB. It's like taking 2 shots at one.
Yeah. You know what we should do for future episodes? You guys don't have to agree with me, but we should do mock drafts.
But yeah, we'll definitely do one in the
I
future.
think we should definitely do one.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll definitely get into more off-season stuff like next week or future weeks.
Yeah, and if you guys also want to get into like other sports too, I know this has pretty much been football, but we are No Name Sports Talk, so we are a sports talk podcast. So I'd like to see if you guys want to talk about any other sport, or if this wants to be a football podcast, that's completely fine too. But I think that's pretty much all that we can discuss. We did go over our time limit again, so I guess anything else that we want to talk about, we can talk about in the next episodes. So, do you guys agree with me?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your parents about this podcast. Maybe they'll get some more fans. Tell your friends about this. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.